In July 2014, a security camera at an airport in Bulgaria captured something unusual. A young German tourist suddenly dropped his luggage. He began running, not walking, not rushing, running, sprinting across the terminal in apparent panic. He ran through a doorway marked for airport staff only, then disappeared from view. That footage would become one of the most famous missing person videos ever recorded. Because the man in the video, Lars Mittank, has never been seen again. More than a decade later, nobody knows exactly what happened to him. This is the mystery of Lars Mittank. Lars Mittank was a 28-year-old German citizen from Berlin. By all accounts, he lived an ordinary life. He worked, spent time with friends, and enjoyed traveling. In the summer of 2014, Lars and several friends decided to take a vacation to the Bulgarian resort town of Golden Sands. The trip was supposed to be simple: a few days of relaxation, sunshine, beaches, nightlife. Nothing suggested the vacation would become one of Europe's most baffling disappearance cases. For most of the trip, everything went normally. The group enjoyed themselves and prepared to return home. But shortly before their departure, something happened. According to reports, Lars became involved in a dispute with a group of men. Accounts differ on exactly what occurred. Some reports suggest the argument began over football. Others claim it started for a different reason. What is known is that Lars reportedly suffered an injury during the incident. Most notably, he suffered damage to his ear. The injury was painful enough that he sought medical treatment. Doctors advised him not to fly immediately because changes in air pressure could worsen the condition. As a result, Lars was forced to stay behind temporarily while his friends returned to Germany. The plan seemed straightforward. He would remain in Bulgaria for a short period, recover, then take a later flight home. At first, there was no reason for concern. People travel alone all the time. His friends left. Lars checked into a hotel. Everything appeared normal, but then his behavior began to change. Over the next several days, Lars became increasingly anxious. He contacted friends and family. The messages he sent were strange. At times, he sounded frightened. At other times, he seemed convinced that someone was watching him. One message suggested he was hiding from people he believed wanted to harm him. Another implied he no longer felt safe. His mother later recalled receiving calls that left her deeply concerned. Las sounded nervous, distrustful, almost paranoid. The situation became more confusing when Lars reported seeing suspicious individuals nearby. He appeared convinced that danger was closing in around him. Yet there was little evidence supporting his fears. Nobody around him reported unusual activity. Authorities later found no clear indication that anyone was actually pursuing him. Still, Lars appeared genuinely terrified. As the day of his flight approached, his behavior became increasingly erratic. On July 8, 2014, Lars arrived at Varna airport. This should have been the end of the story. Board the plane, fly home, reunite with family. Instead, events took an unexpected turn. Before boarding, Lars visited the airport medical office. He wanted confirmation that he was fit to fly. The doctor later described Lars as nervous and agitated. During the examination, something caught Lars's attention. A construction worker reportedly entered the room. For reasons that remain unclear, Lars reacted immediately. He stood up. His anxiety appeared to spike. Moments later, he left the office. What happened next was captured on surveillance cameras. Lars suddenly abandoned his belongings. His luggage, his wallet, his phone, nearly everything. Then he began running. The footage is unsettling, not because of what it shows, but because of what it doesn't. There is no obvious threat. Nobody appears to be chasing him. No confrontación occurs. Yet Lars runs as though his life depends on it. He sprints through the terminal, through a restricted area, out of the airport, and into the outside world. That is the last confirmed sighting of Lars Mittank. When authorities reviewed the footage, they immediately recognized the mystery. Where'd he go? Why'd he run? What was he afraid of? Search efforts began quickly. Police investigated the surrounding area. Witnesses were interviewed. Security footage was reviewed. For a brief period, several possible sightings emerged. Some witnesses claimed they saw Lars wandering nearby. Others believe they spotted him in rural areas outside the city. However, none of the reports could be conclusively verified. Days turned into weeks. Weeks turned into months. No trace of Lars was found. The disappearance attracted international attention. German media covered the story extensively. Internet communities became fascinated by the mystery. Millions of people watched the airport footage. Everyone asked the same question: why did he run? One theory focuses on the ear injury. Some experts have suggested that complications from the injury or medication may have affected Lars's mental state. Certain medications can occasionally produce unusual psychological side effects: confusion, anxiety, paranoia. Supporters of this theory believe Lars may have experienced a psychological crisis. Perhaps he genuinely believed he was being followed. Perhaps the danger existed only in his mind. Another theory involves foul play. Some people believe Lars may have encountered dangerous individuals after leaving the airport. Supporters point to his repeated claims that someone was watching him. Perhaps his fears were justified. Perhaps he knew something investigators never discovered. However, there is little concrete evidence supporting this possibility. No suspects have ever been identified. No credible threats were confirmed. Others believe Lars may have intentionally disappeared, although this theory remains controversial. Some argue he may have chosen to start a new life. Yet this explanation also faces serious problems. People planning to disappear usually take money, documents, personal belongings. Lars left nearly everything behind. His actions appeared impulsive rather than planned. As years passed, investigators continued receiving tips. Occasional reports surfaced from different countries. Some claimed Lars had been seen homeless. Others believed he was living under a different identity. None of these claims could be verified. The mystery remained unsolved. Today, the disappearance of Lars Mittank is considered one of the strangest missing person cases in modern Europe. Unlike many disappearances, this one has a visual record. Millions of people have watched the exact moment everything changed. The footage provides clues. It provides no answers. A healthy young man arrives at an airport. He is preparing to go home. Minutes later, he abandons everything and runs. Then vanishes. No confirmed sightings. No explanation. No resolution. Only questions. Was Lars experiencing a psychological breakdown? Was someone actually following him? Did he encounter danger after leaving the airport? Or is there another explanation hidden somewhere beyond the reach of investigators? More than 10 years later, nobody knows. And until that answer is discovered, the mystery of Lars Mittank remains one of the most haunting disappearances ever captured on camera. If you enjoy real mysteries, unexplained disappearances, and true stories that continue to puzzle investigators around the world, subscribe to Story Vault Studio.